All right, guys, happy Monday. Welcome to our Team Sweaty Lovely Life Team call. I'm super excited. We have another awesome guest speaker this week. So before I introduce her, let me just kind of do some quick rundown of announcements. So we are halfway through February, which February 2020 in general is just flying by. This week in particular is a really big week for us. Big week in general, all across the network. This is the last week before the last 6 weeks of the first quarter. So any big, wanting to end the first quarter, hitting that first, hitting a huge new rank, you want to enter that qualifications by Thursday. So this is a hustle week. This is a total hustle week. And I know everyone is working really, really hard to make that happen. It's the last week of our diamond group. So if you're in our diamond push group, we're in the last 4 days of that. And it's also Team Cup month. So we have the promo codes that are going if you are on a Team Cup team. So don't forget that you did get some of those, whatever you used in the first half of the month, you got replenished, should have gotten replenished on Saturday. So those don't expire. You have through the end of the month to use those. So make sure you're using them and just make sure you're not second guessing yourself. Make sure you're going all out. This is the time, you guys, like nothing happens unless we make the decision to make it happen. I really truly believe like everything comes down to just making the decision and like going after it. No questions asked. This has to happen. That's the kind of energy, that's the kind of momentum that really makes, I don't know, that really makes, I want to make shit happen. That's all that feels right now. So I won't do like the leaderboard or anything like that just because there are so few of us tonight. But I will jump in and just introduce our guest speaker. So let me share my screen. So Cayla Barker. So I am so excited. So this is a little like, weird of me, I guess you could say, but I found Cayla through our Northeast page. I was like, right around the time when we found out that we hit Premiere, I was looking at all the ladies like, hit ended 2019 2-star and above, and I saw Cayla's name and I went to her page and I instantly was just like, okay, this girl, I feel like she would totally connect with our team. And I just saw that she was a younger coach, like that she was a newer coach. So I definitely wanted to have her on, and I wanted her to share with us tonight really just about being a boss and really taking charge and control over her business. The great thing about Cayla is that she has only been a coach for 20 months. She was a success starter, and like I said, she ended 2019 as a 2-star diamond coach. And I don't know, did you hit Premiere? No? Okay. But you probably went to NLC, right?
Yep.
Okay. So she's been a coach for 20 months. She was a success star, and you guys, she's hit Success Club every month since she's been a coach. Okay. But on top of that, she has built her entire business. She is, the whole time that she's been a coach, she's been working full time and building this in part-time hours, which so many of us can relate to, right? That is like pretty much everyone's in that same boat, doing this while working a full-time job with many other hats. And if you saw my post today in the team page, you do not have to work full-time hours or full-time time in order to build a successful, thriving business. So I'm really excited for Cayla to share her story, share her best tips, and just, share a little bit of wisdom with us tonight. And I hope that you guys just came ready to take some notes and just soak it all in. So I'll stop blabbering. I'll let you take it away.
Okay, perfect. So like she said, yeah, I've been coaching for 20 months now. I started in June of 2018. I had just randomly come across the opportunity on Instagram, and I was just looking for something more in my life kind of at that same point. but I was very hesitant at first. Like I watched my coach for a while. I ghosted her. I totally ignored her. And then finally, like she had a sneak peek. So I hopped in there, got more information, and I signed up that day. And I really just was attracted to all aspects of it. So I needed to get my health and fitness in check. It was never a priority in my life. I liked seeing that community aspect that she was a part of. I liked just the confidence and the happiness that she seemed to have. I'm super introverted, like shy person. So being able to step out of my comfort zone was a huge step for me. And so I'm just going to kind of dive into obstacles that I've overcome to kind of get to where I am, and kind of things that I have had to grow with in order to kind of get to the point I am in my business. So when I started coaching, I literally had no idea what I was doing. I had no idea how to grow a business, how to grow a following on social media, how to post on social media, how to like stay committed to a fitness routine. I literally had nothing. Like I said, super introverted, super shy, awkward, all of these things. So this was so outside of my comfort zone. And that was a huge thing that I had to kind of be willing to learn and be willing to grow. And I think that that is so important in all aspects of coaching. You just have to be teachable and willing to learn and willing to take new ideas from other people and kind of implement them into your business. I for sure thought that there were so many things that like coaches that have been doing this for longer than me suggested. And I was like, no, like I don't have to do that. I can do it this way. And they're always right. So that's something huge that I've learned, is kind of listen to the people that have been doing this for longer than you, have gone through more than you have in this business, because more than likely most times they're going to be right. Another obstacle that was huge was I didn't have a lot of support from my closest friends. My college roommates did not support and still do not support this to this day. We're not as close anymore. They would just like make comments and stuff like that. And that's hard and it sucks, but I use that as motivation. Since I started my journey, I knew that they didn't support me, and I use that as motivation to prove them wrong, to not give up and not let myself fail at this, and to just keep going until I saw the success that I have. And I'm going to continue to do that. That has been huge motivation. I don't want to let them win and just give up and go back to where I was. I want to prove them wrong and keep on going. So that has been huge obstacle that I had to face, but also great motivation to really push me to where I am now. I'm sure they see me traveling and doing all these amazing things and are like semi-jealous. And then throughout my journey, I've had like months that I struggled, months that I didn't hit Success Club until the last day, or months that I felt like no one was ever going to join my team. I was never going to be able to build a team of my own. I saw all these other coaches doing that, and I just didn't know how that was going to be me. Or times when I had all these coaches sign up and then like 5 quit all at once or whatnot, and just having to push through that and not let that discourage me. I feel like with anything, coaching, like my mindset has improved so much, and like mental growth and all of those things. And that's something I didn't have before coaching, but being able to like overcome all of these obstacles just makes you a little bit stronger and lets you push through more. So just having to learn that coaches quitting, or coaches deciding that this isn't for them, or coaches going inactive, or all of those things, like they're difficult, but you just have to push through, because you will find your people eventually. And as you grow as a leader, like now I just got off a team call, like a mastermind call with my team, and we have like such an incredible community, which is really new for me. Like it's kind of recent that I had that. I had all these girls that I just didn't know how to lead. I didn't know how to be a leader. And that just takes like time and practice and all of that stuff. So just creating that community is for sure huge, and knowing that people are going to quit. This isn't for everyone, but you can't let it discourage you is super important. I have some notes, so that's what I'm looking. Also, like growing from getting no's, I know how incredible this opportunity is. I know how incredible the workouts are, the coaching opportunity, everything. That hearing people say no, or hearing people saying negative things definitely hurts, and you can take personally, but you have to take that as like, it's not for them, or they just aren't fully educated on what it is, or just keep proving them on your social media or in your posts or whatnot that what this opportunity has to offer, and people will come back. Don't let the no's completely discourage you again, and use that as like a maybe or possibly in the future, because they do keep a closer eye on you. And yeah. What else did I want to say? I touched upon mental growth and belief in myself, and I think that is super, super important. When I started coaching, I was like, I am not going to focus on personal development whatsoever. Like, I'm too good for that. I don't need to deal with that. And I feel like that has been probably the biggest thing that completely changed my business is taking time. Every single morning, I make it a priority when I'm doing my hair for work is to put on a podcast or put on a book on Audible and just dive into at least 20 minutes. Any other chances that I get when I'm cleaning my room or whatnot, I put on a podcast instead of listening to music because it's just like that positivity and the way that other people think and everything like that is going to change the way that you think and help you handle situations differently. So personal development has been huge game changer. And there are so many different types of personal development. So I think it's important to listen to the personal development that you need to hear at whatever stage you're at in your business. Right now, I'm trying to focus on leadership podcasts and leadership personal development books versus before I maybe was focusing on like positivity and like girl talk, real talk, whatever you want to call it. But just kind of focus on whatever you need to hear at whatever you may be feeling like you're struggling with or whatnot. And then what else? Missing goals and deadlines that I have set for myself. This has happened multiple times in my business, but it has also helped me to push forward and get closer to where I actually wanted to be. So there were so many times that I set a goal of hitting diamond by a certain date and it never happened, or hitting 2-star by a certain date and it didn't happen when I ideally wanted it to. But having that date and having that deadline pushed me to get even closer and push me to know that it's okay if I don't hit it the exact date that I need to, but I'm going to be that much closer and that much further along. And now I know how to actually make it happen the next time around or whatnot. So that's really kind of my biggest tips. Also, with social media, I think consistency is the biggest thing that's the biggest thing. I've had so many coaches starting in 2020 get started with me that have been watching me for a year or over a year or since when I first started. And that just proves like how consistency is so important. And I think that's also going to help them realize how important consistency is, because if I were to just give up, then they never would have started. They never would have wanted to join me. So consistency is always super important, and always make sure that your social media is like your storefront is what I always say. It is like if you had a business, like a store that people could come up to and you were just like closed and not open one day, would people buy from you? Probably not. Or like your favorite clothing brands or whatever, if they didn't post on social media for 4 weeks, are you going to order from them? Probably not. So I always make sure that I use my Instagram kind of as that, make sure that it looks like I'm always open, I'm always there to help, I'm always giving tips and helping people and engaging and all of that stuff. I think that's really all I had. Anything else do you want me to cover?
I love that. I think like you really just you nailed so many awesome tips. I kind of wanted to ask you just a little bit more about like when you first started. So what was it? Do you remember like the post that it was that your coach did that kind of grabbed you? And or were you kind of like were you watching your coach for a while and then you saw this like coach sneak peek thing come up and then you were like, okay, let me slide into that? Or how did that kind of go down?
Yeah, so she put like a help wanted sponsored post and that came across my feed on my like personal Instagram account, and I had never seen her account before. I had never heard about coaching before, and I just dropped my email on there. She sent me an information video. I watched it and I thought she was like making it up. Like I thought it sounded way too good to be true, and I was just like hesitant, you know. And then about a month went by and I like continuously watched her all the time and saw like her doing all these amazing things, feeling confident, being able to like earn trips. It was right before they were going to Summit. So she was talking about that. And then one day she said that she was having a sneak peek on Facebook. So I joined that, watched all the videos, and then signed up that day. And yeah.
Oh my God. Okay. So I love that because it just goes to show because like we do these things, right? And I think one of those things as a newer coach, like, you know, you're 2-star, 1-star, whatever, like when you're in that next season of your business where you're really trying to recruit coaches, right? And we do these coaching call to actions, we do these posts, we do these sneak peeks, and I think it's so easy, like everything, to get discouraged, like it's not working, right?
Right.
Or like same thing with inviting, you know, you reach out and people like you said, like people don't respond or whatever. Like you randomly came across some post, happened to drop your email, she emailed you, you didn't respond, I'm assuming,
Right.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and like to that's sort of like, again, like you ghosted her, right? You
Mm-hmm.
ghosted her on the coaching side. But she planted the seed, and then
Right.
there you were, you know, watching for another month. And if she had not posted another sneak peek,
Right.
maybe you would have either not be here or joined with another coach, like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I just love that, because I know, like, one of the things that I noticed for myself, like gut check, looking back on 2019, was like the second half of pretty much like from September on, I didn't run a sneak peek, like, um you know, and I was like, I had to own that. Like the fact, like,
Right.
is like I just wasn't running consistent sneak peek. So like that's been one of my biggest goals now, is to get back into that rhythm of running, because you know, we tell ourselves, oh, doesn't work, right?
Mm-hmm.
um and it's not that it doesn't work, it's like that saying, like, don't change the goal, just change the plan, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like, you know, I used to do Facebook sneak peeks, and they really didn't, you know, when I first started, and I really didn't get anywhere with them. And then I went to that Instagram page thing. That's what I did like earlier last year, and I felt like that wasn't really working that great. So then I kind of just stopped. And you know, I talked about coaching all the time, I posted about coaching all the time, but I didn't really do sneak peeks. So anyway, that's one of the things that we're just talking about a lot. You know, I've been trying to share that, like you said, listen to the people ahead of you, because I'm a perfect example of, like, don't follow in my footsteps, don't repeat my mistake, you know, do the thing, do
Right.
the things, like host sneak peeks, be consistent, because it does pay off. Like, you
Right.
never know, you might have Cayla come out of nowhere and like,
I know when I first started, they always suggested, like, the leaders on the team to do sneak peeks, and they said your first 10 or so are probably going to suck and no one's
yeah,
going to sign up with you. And so I did that, and that's what happened. No one signed up. So I stopped doing them for a little while, and then I started doing them up again, and they were more successful. But I also think that my very first ones, I would like watch my coaches sneak peeks, and I would like make it, like, take notes and basically do the same thing that she did. But then once you kind of like practice that, then you find your own voice and you find your own way to share about the opportunity. And then that's when it, like, you're more you feel more real, you're more excited, so that the people that are in the sneak peek are going to feel the same way.
yeah, totally. Um, the other thing is, are you still living with your roommates?
I
Like,
live with my parents.
okay, good. I was like, whoa, what if she's like hosting
Oh,
the
no.
hall and she's got her roommates down the hall?
Oh, that would be awful.
I feel like that's honestly a really big um, fear for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like a lot of our coaches, or a lot of coaches on our team, struggle with the worry of what others will think of them.
Judgment. Mm-hmm.
That definitely was a huge one for me, with mostly because I come from like a nursing background. So I was very much like worried about just judgment. You know, a lot of like, I wasn't still in college, but you know how it is. Like you kind of still feel like you're in college sometimes, especially when it comes to coworkers, just because you
Mm-hmm.
spend so much time together.
Right.
And a lot of us like and lived together at points in time. So when I started coaching, I was really just coming out of that phase where like I spent all my time with these people, and they just completely just did not understand coaching. And that's really not something you can like just tell people to get over. You really
Right.
have to just kind of, um, all you can really do is, honestly, I feel like like, this is just I feel like all you can do is just tell them, I hear you, I feel you too. What would you say were some of the best, and I know personal development is what helped me through that. Like,
Mhm.
honestly, watching the people ahead of me, focusing on the vision of what I really wanted. But honestly, it was, having already started incorporating personal development a little bit before I even started coaching, that I think really started to get that wheel spinning of like, why do I care so much about what these people think? Um, and so what were some of the best books or things that you listened to in the beginning to help you kind of get over that?
Um, Good question. I feel like the biggest was at Summit when Rachel Hollis was talking about all of that, like people's, what did she say? Like other people's opinions are none of your business or something like
Yeah.
that. Um, so definitely I read Girl Wash Your Face when I was first starting. I'm trying to think. I don't remember what exactly I read at the beginning, but that was a good one. The podcast that I really like are Mindset Mentor. I don't know if you know him. That's a really good one. And they're nice and short. So it's like, I don't have a long attention span to listen
Yeah.
to like sometimes things for a long time. So his, like, they're like 15, 20 minutes each. So they're nice. Empower Her, Keisha's
Mm-hmm.
podcast. I love hers. The Angie Lee Show.
Mm-hmm.
Really just like, I don't know. There's just like so many different, you can like search through the different
Right.
podcast episodes that they have and just, like I said, kind of find ones that relate to you and talk about like friendships and stuff like that. It's definitely, it sucks, but it's, you're able to get over it. I guess I think personal development was what has helped the most, and like realizing that my happiness and my like joy and fulfillment is more important than what someone else is going to think. That's always been a negative person in my life, you know?
Yeah. Like, yeah. So that kind of answers my question. I was going to ask, like, do you kind of like, is that what you like basically share with your coaches? Like, how do you teach that? Like, do you basically just share with them what you just said, or what do you do?
Yeah, I usually just say like, I mean, coaching like makes me happy and this is what I want to do. So why am I going to let someone else kind of dictate my life? And that didn't just happen overnight. Like all of a sudden I didn't just think like that. Personal development and like working on myself and growth and everything like that has played a role in that. But yeah, that's what I share with my coaches.
And then, sorry, if anyone has any questions, please just like interrupt me. So you still work full time,
Mhm.
right? Okay. So what, like, how do you work in power pockets, or like, how is it that you've always made this work?
Yeah, good question. So when I started coaching, I was working so I work in the event industry. So I started coaching in the summer when it's our busiest season. We have weddings every single weekend. I was working events at night. I was working events on the weekend. So when I first started, I would work like 30 minutes a day. And I was never someone that woke up in the morning or had a morning routine then. So it'd just be after work a little bit as I was kind of figure out what I do. Now that like coaching has bigger and I have a bigger team and I'm making more money. I don't work on Mondays, so I've always worked Tuesday through Friday, but usually I work on the weekends, but I've been able to cut that back from coaching. But anyway, so now I have a solid morning routine, which I feel like has changed the whole game. So I work a lot in the morning, and I'll explain my morning routine in a minute. But during the day, I don't really have too much time. I share an office with my boss, so he's like sitting right behind me, can see everything I do. And then I work like in the afternoons when I get home, usually more towards nighttime. But that's kind of how I've always done it. My morning routine now is, I feel like, so important to how the rest of my day goes. And I really never started working out in the morning until Morning Meltdown came out. So I wake up at 5, I have my Energize, I get my workout done, I do my journal, listen to personal development, do my invites, sometimes get back to all my DMs if I have time, but that's like getting all the vitals done right in the morning. So then in the afternoon, it's more like the fun stuff, like helping with stuff for my team or answering my messages, then coming up with my posts and stuff like that. So yeah.
Yeah, I feel like power pockets are life, and I think I agree. Like, once I developed like a morning routine, I felt like that just, yeah, like it just set the tone,
Right.
like every single day. It didn't matter. And it wasn't like that it always was perfect, 'cause I'm sure
Right.
your days are like never always the same, but like I just just knowing that I could at least get the like most concrete things done,
Mm-hmm.
it gave me such a sense of like control or just empowerment through the day. Like so much, like you said, so much can be done. Like I can come home and, get back to messages, or I can come home and, you know, I don't know, plan out posts for myself and stuff like that. But that's not going to move my business forward, right? It's those invites, and it's getting that content out there, getting my daily posts. Like I couldn't agree more with you about the consistency on social media. I think I don't know when or how or where, but I learned it from, just repeat what the successful people do. I heard it from someone that like you just need to be consistent AF on your social media. And
Mm-hmm.
I've always just taken that so seriously. And like, I couldn't agree with you more about the fact that like many people that have joined me have been watching me for so long that I agree that if I had, taken, this lax approach to my social media, that they probably wouldn't have joined with me. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I agree. I think I think some sort of daily routine, and most often in the morning or whatever before your day begins, so vital.
Yeah,
Um,
such a game changer.
yeah, it really, really is. And like, I really don't think it's necessary to work more than that. Like, obviously, like as your team grows, like I say to my coaches now, it's like now that I do this full time, I would say the reason that my days are longer, or the reasons why I work more are because I've spent more time on the mentorship side.
Right.
Um, you know, that's more for because of one-on-ones and things like that I do more consistently than I ever was before, because I'm having a growing team, you know what I
Exactly.
mean? And or planning things, or like we had this Diamond Dash group going this month, like that took a lot of planning ahead of time, setting up all that kind of stuff. Like there's a lot more like back end stuff that you do, but that's more like doesn't feel like work. So it's, and again, it's like so much, it's not my core time. It's not what I, wake up in the morning. My morning routine is still the same. It's always my business first. And then I fill in those pockets of time with whatever needs to get done. But yeah, I feel like having that prioritization of your business, those business building activities, is what made me, got me, just like you, like, is what kept consistently moved my business forward every single day and month, as I was still working full time.
Right.
So it's so doable. It just takes discipline.
Right.
It really, really
But I
does.
also feel like having like a shorter period of time has always made me like work harder because I only have a less amount of time. So I'm going to push to make sure that I'm getting those things actually done versus if I had like when I started, I had the whole entire day. I don't know if I would have been as like efficient with my time, you know?
100%. I feel like that was one of the hardest things, when I did transition
Right.
to full time, was that you really do have to reset new boundaries. And that's something, again, like learning lesson is like, we all are going to go through different seasons. Like, you, I'm sure, have gone through different seasons since when you first started coaching
Oh,
to
yeah.
now. Even like, maybe you were living with roommates before, and then now you're living at home. Like everything takes adjustment. And it just means, again, like we don't change, like I'm not going to change my goals for coaching, but I do have to like like I'm pregnant right now. So it's like, I think about it in that sense, like I'm never going to change my goals for my business, but I am going to set new boundaries in which to set me up for success to reach those goals, while maintaining my health and my sanity and happiness and and that balance that I want and need for based on what's important to me, like your
Right.
priorities, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, so, you know, it was so important to me. And like you said, like I had such little time that getting that morning, like getting up, getting my butt out of bed, at the crack of dawn to do the work before my shifts, like it was so much, not that it was easier, but it was so much easier to be disciplined in it because it was so important to me to be free when I got home from work so I could spend that time with my fiance and all that stuff. Like, I had those boundaries and they're very like clear. Like I needed to be done with work by this time. So I had to get all my work done in these pockets.
Right.
And yeah. And so so making that transition to full time, like, yeah, like you feel like, oh my God, I have all this time. Realistically, you don't. Your time will get filled up with things.
Right.
So you still do have to have that discipline. You still have to have that like set time, or else people will take over your time. Things will take over your time. Yeah. So does anyone have any questions for Cayla? I know it's just you guys. I mean, Ash, you work like multiple jobs. I don't know if you have any questions. I'm putting you on the spot. Nothing?
No, I don't think so. I think working in the pockets has really helped me. That's the only thing. I agree with that.
Do you, Cayla, do you like show like during your days, like when you're working? Like, is that part of like something that you do to just kind of like showcase like how you make coaching work with your lifestyle? Like, or do you kind of not? Is that something you're starting to do or don't do?
I do sometimes. I definitely should do it more. But yeah, sometimes definitely should be more to like show people like how I'm working hard and putting in a lot of time, but it doesn't necessarily need to take that much time when you're starting.
Yeah, I know. I think it's it's one of those things we feel like it's so mundane to us, or like who would want to see it or whatever.
Right.
I think it's something that I've been trying to do more.
Yeah.
Just because I feel like it's something that people are so curious about and like they don't quite understand how they would fit it into their life.
Right. I've been getting a lot of time limitations, so I feel like that is definitely something I should do.
Exactly. Totally. My last question, because I told everyone that they need to like get to NLC. That's like a huge goal of mine, is I want to get like as many people to NLC next year as possible. I went to NLC last January.
Okay.
Right. And it was like insane. Like it created such a ripple effect for my entire like year. The people I met, just the experience alone, I've never like ever, I don't know if you've ever done that. I've never been anywhere by myself like that. Like ever. I'd never been to California and all these things and it was just so outside my comfort zone. But it really was like this, I hadn't yet been to Summit yet either. So I don't think it was my first like big event. But it really is the thing, I think, that kind of just instilled that belief in me, like 1000%. Like if I can just keep going and if I just like keep going, I don't quit, like just the sky is really the limit.
Yeah.
So what was your favorite takeaway, like what from the whole experience?
Oh, goodness, so many things. It was literally like the best. I've been to Summit once, I've been to a couple retreats, and this was my favorite event so far, like by far. Just the whole experience was awesome. The trainings were super cool. Like literally got to the hotel and felt like I was so important and like spoiled and like, I don't know, it was just so cool. And then the trainings were very geared towards where I am in my business, and I felt like they were speaking directly to me. Like it was exactly what I needed to hear. So many amazing takeaways and tips. It was really cool to be able to hear from some people from corporate, because we don't always get to hear from them. So that was really cool. I just like felt like I was a queen and just like living this amazing life. It was awesome. Like the hotel was so nice. The people were so cool. It was so good to be like there in person with people that are at about the same stage in their business as you. Yeah, it was just the best.
But isn't it also crazy? Like this was like the feeling that I had, like, yeah, like because maybe there were some people there that like maybe you've seen on social media, but you never like met in real life, or even these people that you put on pedestals. Like I know, like, Melanie Mitchell was there, Kelsey Hill, like last year, like Amy Bailey, and like all these people that I watched when I first started coaching. Like it was just so insane to me to have them there. But like it also humanized them for me. Like, you know what I mean? Like it made me really feel like, talking to some of these other coaches that I, put up on pedestals or I watched for a while, or when I had first started coaching and all this stuff, like it was like, wow, she's really not just a normal human. Like she's not anything like, she's not a unicorn. Like if she can do it, I can do it kind of thing. Like, why am I doubting myself kind of thing? Like,
yeah, like they have similar struggles and they've gone through similar phases and moments in their business. Like they're not anything special in the nicest way.
Yeah. So I love that. That was one of my favorite things. It really was like, it created that whole, like, why not me thing.
Right.
Like it really like made it real.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. Well, I don't know, Cayla, this was awesome. I think it was just so nice to just chat with you and like get to pick your brain.
Yeah.
I am so excited for you and your team. Like that's insane. Like what crazy momentum you are probably like running with right now.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's weird. It's something I always have wanted, and it's weird, but it's awesome. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. What can I ask? Well, like, what do you have like a long like game plan of like where you like what you want to do with coaching? You just kind of ride in and out and seeing where.
Yeah, definitely want to go full time this year. I definitely think it's possible and going to happen. But yeah.
How long have you been at your job that you're at now?
It'll be 4 years in May. So I started as an intern when I was in college, and then like went full time right after I graduated.
Gotcha. Good for you. That's so exciting. Ooh, honestly, like it's, I don't know. When they like the whole, when thing, that was kind of like what happened for me. Like I didn't fully believe I could go full time for a while. 2, wasn't really sure that I wanted to. And then it was just like one day, man, I swear it was like a switch went off and it was like, oh, hell no. Like,
yeah.
it's happening. Like,
yeah.
It's happening.
I had no intention, like when I went into coaching, to ever make this. Like I thought it'd be cool to make like an extra $50 or whatever a week. I had no intention of like making it full time, but kind of as I saw the potential and learned like the possibilities and saw like uplines on my team being full-time coaches, and I knew that eventually I was going to make it happen. But
Who is your upline? I'm curious.
Kelsey Hill.
Oh no shit! I was like, you're on Kelsey Hill. Yeah, that's so insane. Oh my god, yeah. Talk about like, wow, that's wonder. Like her, I remember. I think she was at NLC last year.
Yeah, she was.
Yeah, that's insane. Wow, yeah. Good for you, girl. Yeah. And she's pregnant too, right?
Yeah, she is.
Oh my god. Yeah. There's like a million pregnant coaches right
I know.
now.
I feel like that too. I feel like everyone like on my Explorer page pops up as like pregnant.
There's something in the air in the USA. I swear to God. Well, anyway, I won't keep you any longer, but thank you, Cayla. This was so fun. It was to have you and get to know you, and I am so pumped for you. All right, guys.